the world's first live daily LGBTQ evening news. And it's 7 p.m. April 15th, 2020. We cue up breaking Q news tonight by reporting our headline that Trump shocks the world by halting World Health Organization funding during the pandemic. We've prepared a package. Watch this.
Today, I'm instructing my administration to halt funding of the World Health Organization while a review is conducted to assess the World Health Organization's role in severely mismanaging and covering up the spread of the coronavirus. Everybody knows what's going on there. American taxpayers provide between $400 million and $500 million per year to the WHO. In contrast, China contributes roughly $40 million a year, and even less. As the organization's leading sponsor, the United States has a duty to insist on full accountability.
President Donald Trump's move to halt funding to the World Health Organization has been met with severe criticism, not only here at home, but abroad. And with the United Nations Secretary General saying, quote, "Now is not the time for such a drastic move while the coronavirus pandemic is gripping the globe." Trump made the announcement Tuesday pending a review of WHO's response to the initial coronavirus outbreak in China. He claims the agency has been too close to Beijing and covered up for its mistakes. Congressional Democrats are disputing the president's authority to do this. Republican lawmakers are planning their own investigation examining the early response by the WHO and the Chinese government. Quote, "Now is the time for unity in the global battle to push COVID-19 pandemic into reverse, not a time to cut the resources of the World Health Organization, which is spearheading and coordinating the global body's efforts," said by the UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres.
China's foreign ministry spokesman said, quote, "As the most authoritative and most professional organization, the World Health Organization has played an irreplaceable role in global public health crisis." Zhao said, "The decision of the U.S. will undercut the ability of the World Health Organization and damage the global cooperation fighting the epidemic."
The European Union's foreign policy chief, Joseph Borrell, tweeted similar misgivings, saying this could be the most significant move to damage a world pandemic response since coronavirus had spread across the entire planet. The EU again expressed lack of understanding of what was happening with their American ally.
We also have multiple tweets from the EU and others, and we're showing that to you now. Leading the way from Bill Gates. Bill Gates said today in tweet, "Halting funding for the World Health Organization during a world health crisis is as dangerous as it sounds. Their work is slowing the spread of COVID-19, and if that work is stopped, no other organization can replace them. The world needs the World Health Organization now more than ever." So good evening again, America. It's 7 p.m. Wednesday, April 15th, 2020. It's time to queer up the news, and we are literally out of the closet and into the headlines. So many of your stories tonight, next on Q News Tonight. Tonight on the world's first live daily queer evening news show.
Tonight's news about the gay community and the news from an LGBTQ perspective. Are our gay stories important to you? In headlines, politics, entertainment, gay culture, travel, religion, and more. Reported by respected anchors.
Out of the closet and into the headlines on Q News Tonight. Welcome to Q News Tonight. We are live and unscripted, so anything can happen Tonight, we bring you the news of and a perspective from the LGBTQ community. Stay tuned as we bring you amazing good news stories tonight, even despite coronavirus. I'm your anchor, Al Ferguson, and this is my co-guest anchor, Misty Eyes.
Hi, I'm super looking forward to a love story involving a cherry picker.
I can't wait to hear that. And anchor Napoleon Plays.
Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in. If you are out of work, we've got a couple of stories that will really help you out, so stay tuned for more.
Let's cue up the news. During the COVID-19 crisis, Q News Tonight will bring you today's bullet points on coronavirus. The most important news of the day that we call Corona Quickies, but right to the point. Here are the headlines of Corona Quickies for Wednesday, April 15th, 2020. Coronavirus facts, April 15th, as we begin. We report the major facts news of coronavirus today on this Wednesday. COVID-19 has now topped 2 million cases worldwide. We have more than 2 million cases. We also have a very significant number of USA infections. In fact, since this slide was created today, that number of 601,000 in the USA has now increased to almost 630,000, and the 24,429 number has increased to almost 27,000 deaths in the United States. Americans tested in 2020 since coronavirus has begun is pretty low. A shameful 0.95% have been tested to date, which means only 10 out of every 1,000 Americans. And testing has been considered critical on the reopening of America. And to add to that, we add a hall of shame tonight in reflecting the 3 worst places to live for coronavirus. Number 3, Texas. We hope you don't live there because only 5 out of every 1,000 people know if they have Corona-19. Number 2 is Kansas. Only 4 out of every 1,000 know if they have COVID-19. And the worst place in America is number 1, Puerto Rico. Only 2 out of every 1,000 people know if they have COVID-19. Q News Tonight asks, President Trump, where is the testing? His reply today was, it's up to the states. And that is impossible.
Quarantine Quickies. The IRS will help Americans' online tracking of their stimulus checks. The IRS launched a website on Wednesday, today, to help people expedite the delivery of stimulus money by providing banking details. The website also helps people track the status of their payment. People will need to enter their Social Security number, date of birth, and mailing address to track payments. To speed payment, taxpayers will need to enter their adjusted gross income from either 2019 or 2018, the refund or amount owed from their most recent taxes, and their banking information. The website debuted the same day that many people reported that stimulus payments had hit their bank accounts. Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin first announced the website last week.
Quarantine Quickie. Economy news continues to be bad. Wednesday, April 15th, 2020. The Dow Jones Industrial Average fell by around 550 points this morning after a brutal monthly retail report and more ugly quarterly earnings reports from some of the country's largest banks. The government's monthly retail sales report showed sales were down a record 8.7% for the month of March, and a 50.5% decline in clothing sales, and 26.5% drop in sales at restaurants and bars. A rough round of bank earnings continues to weigh on markets, with Bank of America reporting a decline in profits of 45% for the first quarter. JP Morgan Chase and Wells Fargo also reported ugly quarterly earnings this week, as banks put aside billions of dollars as provisions for bad loans.
Quarantine Quickies. Healthcare workers are heroes as Spain reports 27,000 now have COVID-19. We ask, is America next? More than 27,000 healthcare workers in Spain have tested positive for coronavirus. An official at the country's Emergency Coordination Center said during a news conference Wednesday. Spain has been especially hard hit by the coronavirus, with almost 170,000 cases and more than 18,000 deaths as of Tuesday. The announcement puts a face on the dramatic gratitude that the world is expressing for healthcare workers. Thousands of stories are appearing how healthcare workers are even volunteering to help. The American Medical Association tweeted today, "Salute to Spain's healthcare workers," and then asked for more support from the White House for the PPE, personal protective equipment for the healthcare workers in America.
Quarantine quickies. Thousands of Major League Baseball players participate in critical new coronavirus study for vaccine. Major League Baseball confirmed today that 27 teams will participate in a study looking for COVID-19 antibodies among club employees and their relatives. The Athletic First reported that 10,000 volunteers will participate in the study, which will be conducted with the Sports Medicine Research and Testing Laboratory, Stanford University, and the University of Southern California. The study will aim to measure the prevalence of COVID-19 among people across the United States by testing for a blood protein that the body creates in response to the infection.
Quarantine quickie. New Zealand leaders take 20% pay cut because of nation sacrifice. Hello, Washington, are you listening? New Zealand's top officials are taking a 20% pay cut for 6 months in acknowledgement of the community's sacrifices in dealing with this coronavirus. Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern says it applies to government ministers, chief executives of government organizations, and also that a position Simon Bridges had volunteered to join them. She said it wouldn't apply to the frontline staff like doctors and nurses.
Quarantine quickies. Coronavirus infection and death rates are dramatic. Report says they are only estimates. When the outbreak hit Spain, coffin makers couldn't keep up with the demand. In Italy, the bodies were stacked unceremoniously in the back of military vehicles and hauled away. As the coronavirus death toll in the United States mounts, experts can only estimate as to how high it will go. Accusations flew across continents as governments accused each other of lying about their coronavirus casualties. So while the official global death toll currently stands at more than 126,000, according to Johns Hopkins University, that number represents a mere estimate. Only countries with extensive testing can confirm their mortalities, and even in those with the necessary medical technologies, the simple act of counting the dead reflects the chaos that COVID-19 has wrought. The number of infected could likely be, depending on the region of America, 10 times higher than reporting numbers because of the lack of testing. Testing percentages are less than 1% because of tests and the lack of tests and infrastructure to test. In some states like Texas and Kansas, testing is less than 0.5%, and in Puerto Rico, less than 0.2%. It is impossible to estimate accurately until this is solved.
So that is our special segment on the LGBTQ community called Quarantine Quickies for Wednesday, April 15, 2020. You can count on Q News tonight to give you the facts of the pandemic. After bringing you the quickies in the news, we will follow the headlines with a segment we call Coronavirus Good News. With COVID-19, we can all use a little good news. We report on the best of America and the world while in pandemic. We call the segment Coronavirus Good News for Wednesday, April 15, 2020. Coronavirus Good News. Skipping Seek challenges you to get active while on lockdown. A 73-year-old British man armed with a jump rope has launched a viral campaign to raise funds for the country's healthcare system and get people active during the coronavirus lockdown. Rajinder Singh, who refers to himself as the Skipping Sikh, is challenging both young and old to go for walks, runs, and of course, skip in an effort to stay healthy during isolation. He has become an internet sensation in Britain and an inspiration of his support of healthcare workers. And that is coronavirus good news?
Coronavirus good news. Husband uses bucket truck to visit wife of 61 years at nursing home window. Love reached new heights at a nursing home in Waltham, Massachusetts when, faced with restrictions on visiting due to coronavirus, 88-year-old Nicholas Eftke Sr. was lifted in a bucket truck to greet his wife, 85-year-old Marion, through the third-story window of the building. Nicholas and Marion's youngest son, Christopher, said that what was initially laughed off as a silly idea amongst family members sitting around a fire became a reality when family friend Peter Zanos reached out to bring them to the plan. Together, and a local man, Ryan Donnellan, volunteered his bucket truck to be used. Holding a note which read, "I love you, sweetheart," Nicholas was reunited with Marion after 4 weeks apart due to the pandemic. The couple had celebrated their 61st wedding anniversary in February. It reminds us that the most critical effect of COVID-19 in terms of dramatic percentage of death is seniors in nursing homes and assisted living facilities. So this story is really, we say, coronavirus good news.
And we're going to do a little a video of this story.
Don't do anything silly. After you should live properly. He's underway.
Coronavirus good news. Downton Abbey makes medical masks and gowns for nurses. Dressmakers and costume designers from the British television series Downton Abbey are turning their hands towards making medical scrubs to aid healthcare workers during the coronavirus outbreak. Quote, "Our aim is to keep it local and to supply to the hospitals closest by. This should make things quicker, keep costs down, and ideally keep any risk of contagion to a minimum," wrote costume designer Dulcie Scott on a GoFundMe page for a group that has made 25,000 medical scrubs and 50,000 masks for mostly nurses in harm's way. Actor Hugh Bonneville, who played Robert Crowley, Earl of Grantham, in the popular period drama, tweeted his pride for this creative effort. And that is indeed Corona good news. Watch this.
The clothes you wear determine the way people see you. I'll need your help serving drinks. Stop.
We have got about 6,500 sets of scrubs either completed and delivered or being made. And we've more fabric on the way. We were getting phone calls going, "Can we help? We want to help. We'd love to join in." So we've got crew from all sorts of other jobs. We've got the Batman crew helping us. And then we've linked up with people who are on sex education as well. And then we've got 3 girls from Welsh National Opera as well with us.
Coronavirus good news. The bells of Notre Dame ring for the first time since the fire a year ago today. Parisians today marked the 1-year anniversary of a fire that devastated the city's ancient Notre Dame Cathedral, while they clap to acknowledge the sacrifices of medical workers battling coronavirus epidemic in that city. One of the cathedral's bells rang over the capital city tonight at 8 p.m. local time. Millions of French came out onto their balconies in Paris to begin clapping, cheering, and banging on pots to pay tribute to the healthcare workers and the beloved 800-year-old cathedral. The French cultural minister, Franck Reister, said, quote, "It will be a signal of gathering and of resilience of a country facing obstacles not seen in Paris since the invasion in World War II. The entire country stood with Paris as every television and radio station in France broadcast together at 8 p.m. tonight the Notre Dame surviving bell with a tribute to healthcare workers standing in defense of the nation. Tonight, all of America, and the LGBTQ community who loves Paris so much stands with the grand Notre Dame. Truly, a coronavirus good news.
We've got a great video to show you for that. Watch this. Are you going to count me out? It may feel that the world is in crisis, and that means now is the time to come together. The LGBTQ community must come together.
Are LGBTQ voices important to you? Can the news of the world have a gay community perspective?
If you, like us, think the answer is a resounding yes, then like and subscribe to Q News Tonight on YouTube or on Facebook.
Do our gay cultural stories impact you, your friends, and your family?
Start a watch party. Get your circle involved in our conversation as it supports the LGBTQ community.
We're going to continue by queuing up business tonight by reporting a free chatbot looks to help people file for unemployment benefits. We prepared a package on it. Watch this.
All of you who have reached out to us for help trying to apply for unemployment compensation, try this new option. The Texas Workforce Commission's launched a new chatbot to help answer questions about the process as Texans apply. Last week, we told you that the Texas Workforce Commission was having trouble handling the volume of jobless claims it was receiving. The Texas Workforce Commission says they have 200 additional people working on unemployment claims this week. Let us know how it goes.
Joshua Browder of the app Do Not Pay has created an app with only 7 people. A team of 7 people has fixed the entire unemployment problem that we're experiencing in America. Unemployment offices are overwhelmed across the entire country as millions are filing for the first time, and 10% of our entire country, up to 30%, are unemployed. The former app has been used to fight parking tickets and small claims in court, as well as other things. And that's where they get their money. But this app is available in all 50 states. But it is very strange to me that only 7 people could be used to fix the entire plight of the unemployment, or as we know in Florida, reemployment process. Of course, this is a free app, and we encourage you to use it because what they do is take the form, you fill out some questions, they do not save the information, and then you submit it via writing. The question here is, why did it take this long for the country to come up with a solution? And even more specifically, in terms of the LGBT community, what does this mean for unemployment? Because we, of course, are not protected under unemployment clauses. Do you guys have any comments on that?
Go ahead.
I want to say that in general, I applaud the app. I hope it works. We don't know yet because it's just launching. But I will tell you that right now we're focusing on testing and the number of people that are catching the disease and the number of people that are dying. Next week, we're going to start focusing on the individual personal economics because the application of unemployment and the stimulus filings for both small business and individuals has been a total disaster. And we're going to hear it in spades and likely report it very loudly next week at Q News Tonight. And we remind you that Q News Tonight is part of the Happening Out television network. We are the Daily News.
We are also part of the most popular live gay TV show in the world, every Wednesday, like tonight, at 8 p.m. on It's Happening Out.
It's a talk show like television's The View, with a whole lot of gay people.
I get right on top of Misty.
It's not the first time.
Hey, wow. We cue up the USA tonight by talking about Oprah Winfrey as she explains the minority and African American crisis going on in coronavirus. We've prepared this.
And how difficult it is when you are living in housing where you have no way of getting away from the rest of the people in the house, except to close off a room and put yourself in a room. How social distancing in the African American community is far more difficult in the African American and Brown community because you have more people living in the home. And I talked to a minister on the South Side of Chicago for this series who lost his sister and his best friend since high school within the same couple of days.
Oprah Winfrey has a very good point. It is hard to social distance when you have many people in your family living in your home. But also, many people of color cannot work from home because they're the ones bagging your groceries and they're the ones ringing you up in cashier stores just by percentage alone. They don't have the ability to work from home, and that is also a problem. Oprah Winfrey is doing a great thing talking about this, but we talked about it on the news last week. It's very real and it's very, very serious. And she's doing a TV show called Oprah Talks COVID-19. She also expressed her own fear because she had pneumonia in September and had to go to the emergency room, and her lungs have not fully recovered. So she wanted to remind everyone, if you are having a pre-existing condition, that means if you're taking medication for diabetes or taking medication because of hypertension, you have a pre-existing condition and you are at risk. So stay home. And she wants to stress, listen, in the beginning of this epidemic, people said people of color were not getting this, and that has proven very wrong. She's like, hello, America, wake up and pay attention. You are not immune.
You make an amazing point. Just this afternoon, I went to Publix to get some vegetables. I know Napoleon's happy that I got vegetables. A black woman was the cashier, and I said to her, I just want to thank you for what you're doing because I know how difficult this is. She started crying immediately, right there at the register, of saying that she's scared to death, but she has to work. She has no other choice. We are going to tell you that tonight we are broadcasting from the studio set here in the middle of the World AIDS Museum and Education Center. And it is a museum right here in the heart of Wilton Manors and Fort Lauderdale, Florida.
We joke, we're coming from the gayest place on planet Earth.
Well, that is our show, except how we are going to end. We are going to bring you the big finish. There are many stories today we only want to mention briefly. Let's see if Misty and Napoleon and I can entertain each other, because this is important. We like to end the show on a lighter note using the news. So
especially now, yeah.
Yes. So we're going to have a lightning round on the LGBT news of the day and the news with an LGBTQ perspective. So here we go. Q News tonight, the big finish. The big finish, story one. Trump's name, it was announced today, is appearing on stimulus checks. What the fuck?
I don't want Trump's names on my checks. That must mean I'm either one, not getting paid, or I'm being deported, or I'm about to go bankrupt. And none of those things sound positive to me. Please keep Trump far away from me.
This news is not shocking to me. Our president is an entire narcissist. If he could, he would make the entire country change its name to United States of Donald Trump. But I will say, even if he writes me a personal check from him, A, it's not his money, but B, if it was his money, I still wouldn't vote for him.
If it were his money, he would not pay you. We all know that.
It's funny to me, his name has been on steaks, a university, casinos, water, and 100 other products. Not kidding. 100 other products and services. They're all bankrupt. The world's greatest flim-flam man has fooled us to separate us from our dignity, humanity, and money. So please, God, is his signature on the check another sign of a $2 trillion failure coming? Why would he specifically instruct Treasury for the first time in history to do this in a memo line? If he were gay, I would say he was likely, or very likely has, a very tiny penis. And this is how he tries to overcome it. Failure coming again. We cue the big finish by reporting that Netflix unveils a documentary about 80s gay porn empire.
And I'm a little stuck on you saying Trump coming again, because we know he can't do it a second time. Of course, this is a documentary. It involves Alaska Thunderfuck from RuPaul's Drag Race All-Stars winner of season 2. Yes, an amazing person. Ryan Murphy.
Hi.
What's going on? Hi! Ryan Murphy's involved. It's called The Circus of Books. As a Jew, which will come up, I'm sure, many times today and in the future, I can imagine parents that would want to hide their gay son's empire, but I hope that they are making bank off of this and really respecting our community in the process.
I'm very proud of Netflix for doing something gay, very gay, and porn, and I think this will help their ratings game in this quarantine struggle of who's the best.
I love Netflix is becoming so gay. And let's face it, Napoleon doesn't know it, probably Misty either. The 1980s gay porn ruled, and Jeff Stryker was king.
Jeff Stryker was king.
Jeff
Born.
Stryker,
Yeah.
manly. Oh my, so manly. Very big dick. When we met, his first words to me, I'm not kidding, was that he loved Drag Race. And I pretended I didn't hear him because, after all, I have sex with him. And did I mention masculinely manly? Wait, at the beginning of my comments, what the hell was I talking about? I can't remember. The Big Finish. New survey reveals RuPaul's Drag Race true lip sync assassins.
Your mouth is a little busy as we cover that last story. Of course, these are the passive gays at home that have apparently nothing better to do than watch RuPaul time and time again, which I admit I am one of them. Though at least the active ones go on Facebook and lip sync battle. And I challenge any of you, and Misty here too, lip sync battle me. Let's see what happens. Facebook is ready for it. I challenge you.
Ooh.
I think I would win that competition, Mr. Napoleon. I have years of experience, and I have a wicked lip sync, by the way. But I will also say I have 2 points on this comment. A, they're awarding people for being up for elimination, which I find ironic because they're the worst of the best. But the more you lip sync, the better you are, and it's kind of ironic. But also, again, to my point, my second point is, you have to be really good at lip syncing. Like, a lot of people, especially singers that are live singers, and they're lip syncing their own songs and their own videos, are kind of bad. So, I mean, to be a truly talented lip syncer, it's hard work.
Somebody working on this survey, I love that we either have so little to do, or we are such great fans that we endlessly explore such silly, silly fun as this. Napoleon will hate this, but I'm pulling the big dick card out. I know personally all 10 of the top 10 assassins, and here's who it is. In my opinion, knowing all of them, Alyssa Edwards, period.
Yeah, I was gonna say, let's do that challenge, Doc. I lose at that. Let's see how mouth pops right here.
The Big Finish. America likes gay, but a survey shows more are also okay with religious freedom discrimination.
You know, I'm used to America being against Christianity, but apparently it's the Jehovah's Witnesses and the Mormons, of which I was recently told I look like one while I was working out, and it was posted on Facebook.
Mormon boy.
Apparently, as I sing Book of Mormon, that this is something that's become more of a problem among non-Christians, but other groups. And to those I say, again, tune into my Facebook and let's see how we can convert you.
Got it. So with the news report is 72% of these Christians were saying that they are pro anti-discrimination, meaning they don't think LGBTQ people, I can't even say my own acronym, LGBTQ people should be discriminated against for gender identity or sexual orientation. However, 56% of them only think that should apply when it comes to their businesses. So we lost 20% of the people when it comes to the gay dollar.
I need somebody to translate that for me later after the show. Why the hell do we care that they won't bake us a cake? Those that discriminate against the LGBTQ community are ignorant, likely intimidated, but look, our community moved in American acceptance far faster than any other minority in history. This survey only points out that while our acceptance is overwhelming, over 70%, as Misty just said, many of those same people say it's okay for those people to not accept us.
Yeah.
It sounds pretty American to me. They will come around eventually. They've got to. Eventually, they'll want to know how to dress, where to live, how to make money, and how to get girls.
Yeah, but those aren't the gay guys that are eating cakes, let's be real.
We do all of that better than them. They'll come around. The Big Finish. It's the 108th anniversary of the sinking of the Titanic.
And I just remember a certain point in my 4th grade where every single night I had a nightmare about how every night in my dreams I see you, I feel you.
between my legs.
And that is
How I know you will come.
that's far across the distance. I hope you can shoot it that
What
far.
am I doing here?
You're
Why am I on
far,
this show?
Wherever you are. That's all. But I will say, Billy Zane got me as a fan from this movie. I was forever in love with him, and now he's out of the closet as a homo, and I'm in the closet. I'm out of the closet. Wait, hold on.
Wait.
Billy Zane is gay, and I'm straight.
Oh,
Oh my God, I'm like
Yeah.
rose-colored. Oh my
Keep
God.
telling that story. Interesting. There's a new report out on the Titanic that analyzed the crew and the passengers and concluded over 200 aboard the Titanic that lost their lives were mostly gay men. LGBT, but mostly gay men, over 200.
Wow.
Proof, once and for all, that Leonardo DiCaprio literally went down with the ship. Big Finish.
That's a visual for everyone to hear.
Production is reading me, America. The Big Finish. Happy 38th birthday to Seth Rogen.
L'chaim. And if you want real equal opportunity, cast me, Seth Rogen. Hashtag Jew love, hashtag don't be a part of the problem.
Wait, Seth is younger than me?
Seth Rogen and his secret gay lover and rumored huge-dicked Paul Rudd tip their hat like never in history when they discuss why each other is so gay. My birthday present to America and Seth Rogen. Watch this.
You know what we should do? We should go see Celine Dion there.
You want to go see Celine Dion?
Yes.
Take shrooms and go see Celine?
I think if we eat enough, she'll start to look like a human.
You know how I know you're gay?
How?
You want to see Celine Dion not on shrooms.
Very, very funny. You know how I know you're gay?
How?
You've TiVo'd every episode of Tourgasm.
You know how I know you're gay?
How?
You wanted to put on suits for a 4-hour drive.
You know how I know you're gay?
How?
You're wearing a white tie.
You know how I know you're gay?
How?
You're not so crazy about Gloria Estefan, but you love Miami Sound Machine.
You know how I know you're gay?
How?
Every time we go out to eat, you want to sit on the terrace.
You know how I know you're gay?
How?
You're always ordering frittatas.
You know how I know you're gay?
How?
2 words. False teeth.
You know how I know you're gay?
How?
2 words. You're gay.
You know how I know you're gay?
How?
Your fucking car.
You know how I know you're gay?
How?
You fucked a dude in my car.
You know how I know you're gay?
How?
You're very good at articulating with a cock in your mouth.
You know how I know that you're gay?
How?
You make me talk when I do it.
You know how I know you're gay?
How?
Your chin has ball rests.
You know how I know you're gay?
How?
Your index finger smells like Rupert Everett.
You know how I know you're gay? You're watching Q News Tonight. That is today's news for the LGBTQ community on the world's first daily LGBTQ evening news show. Remember, if it's important to the LGBTQ community, it's important to Q News Tonight. But you've got to help us. Click subscribe on YouTube and share the news. We are literally out of the closet, like Seth Rogen and Paul Rudd, and into the headlines. This is the only source of live LGBTQ news in the entire world. Your community needs your support. And remember, you're not alone. We're going to get through this crisis. We are here with you. And this is Q News Tonight. So thank you for joining us. I'm Al Ferguson. And on behalf of Misty Eyes and Napoleon Plays, we'll see you tomorrow night at 7.